And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Why Melly?
Mic check, mic check. We are up. We are live. Happy Saturday. Hit that like button as you make your way into the room. Can I get a mic check in the comment section? How are we sounding? As you can tell by the choice of musical selection, we're going a bit white today. I think we might have to do a little double header because I got other content that's like loosely tangentially related to this, but I wanted to get this one off my chest, man. We gotta talk about the white people for a little while. These white folk are acting up again, man. I tell you.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
Oh my God, we'll have our home again. My God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home.
All right, white folk, pull up. I need the white folks to come down to the front of the congregation. We're going to set up a special pew for the white folks. We're going to bring back some segregation, positive segregation. We're going to set up a special area, like a reserve, like a nature preserve for the white folks. I need you guys to come up to the front, and I want you guys to understand something. There was a plan in place, all right? There was a plan. It was a great plan. It was a wonderful plan. It was thought out by I don't know, probably some nigga named Mordecai or something like that. I don't know who started up the plan, but I do know there was a plan in place. And a big part of this plan was for the white folk to just kind of fade away gracefully into the ether. Like, I imagine that's how the elves died in Lord of the Rings. When the elves finally fade away, they just sort of, they don't really die. They just kind of disintegrate like a Thanos snap. And that was the plan, white people, okay? That was the plan. You were supposed to just fade away with grace and dignity. Don't even notice. Don't even poke your head up for a moment and notice that you are actually fading away and there's nothing graceful or dignified about it. Don't you dare notice that. That's not what we're here to do. I don't know who lied to you, but that's not what we're doing here.
I think the Democrats are basically cynically toying with partnering with this so-called anti-racist movement, and that is going to back whites against the wall and cause them to start seeing things racially in a way that they haven't in more than a generation, and that the net result of those two phenomena is that we are going to be headed to a conflict that nobody knows the way out of. And what's more, unlike our first Civil War, there's not even a geographic description of a solution. Right?
I'm not sure about that, though, because you have quite a lot of whites that are no longer interested or exhausted in their own identity who are not going to be taking up that war. So it gets a lot more complicated than white versus black.
I agree it's more complicated, but do you see a way that it ends acceptably? I mean, you have a well-armed rural white population that is now correctly understanding that it is being targeted by a mob that claims it's guilty of all sorts of things that it actually isn't guilty of yet.
Now, I don't know. See, as a noticing black guy, I'm torn between two polar opposite visions of a dark future. On the one hand, there's this.
Eats.
This is so beautiful.
Philly-eyed always eats.
This is so beautiful.
Philly niggas are a different breed. Philadelphia is like low-key the capital of Black American Islam. Not to be confused with Islamic Islam, but Black American Islam is a whole other kind of thing. And the thing about it, because of Black American Islam, we now have actual Islamic Islam right here in our own country. And let's take a look at some Somali, Minnesota stuff here. Let me see, what should I pull up? You know, to the non-discerning eye, you would think these were American black kids, right?
There's so many Somalians in this bitch. Oh God. Any place you walk, you see all of that. Everywhere. What the hell going on? Everywhere you go, Somalians everywhere. That's the mall of America. There's so many Somalians in this bitch.
Like I said, to the casual observer, you would think those were just regular Black American kids running amok. No, no, no. There's a whole new type of thing in town. There's a whole new type of Black in town. And I'm not sure if we're ready for what the new type of Black really represents. You know what I mean? Like, there's something really different about the new Black. The old Black was like comfortable and familiar. It was warm. It was cozy. It was almost neighborly even. But the new Black,
and I
different.
said it from the start, this is advanced darkness. This is heart of darkness. This is the jungle drum. This is the fertility goddess of chaos. They're literally going to eat your balls. They're going to cut your fucking nuts off and eat them.
Whoa, what? They're gonna what?
Do you think it's a problem that Muhammad was the most common name in London, like in the past few years?
Not necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily a problem. No, not a problem.
Not at all. That like a Middle Eastern name is the most common name in England.
If they come to make your country big, that's no problem. The problem is when they come to take your money without making your country big. That's in Spain. We have lots of immigration, and if they come with the right papers and they work, they are welcome. The problem is when they are taking your social advantages and taking the piece out of us. I don't think it's a problem. Immigration is the way it is. Our politicians are issuing things, and that's why we have this much unemployment, and people are trying to make ends meet because politicians are prioritizing their own needs, not ours.
You know, this is, I guess, the third crack at this topic, race and liberalism. And let me just sort of catch you guys up if you're new to what we've been doing here these last couple of episodes on this topic. It is my contention, it is my thesis that liberalism is a wholly European political construct. And frankly, all of modern politics is some version of European political theory played out in the real world, right? But liberalism in particular is a completely white European political construct. Being such, it has to be imposed upon the rest of the non-white world. And that is okay when you're imposing it on them in their world. And I use okay in, air quotes. You can air quote around that. But the idea that we can maintain liberalism while being imposed upon by hordes of people from the brown, the non-white world who know nothing of liberalism and frankly may not even care for the mundane basic concepts of living in modern Western civilization. Like, I go fishing often, and I've seen videos of, like, up in Canada, Indians, fishing in the rivers using like illegal fishing methods. I don't know if they're like netting whole rivers or stuff like that. But when I'm out here fishing, I fish around like the New York City area. And I noticed over, a couple of years, a lot more Asians, like Chinese in particular, a lot more Chinese out and about all over the city. And so when I'm out fishing, I noticed a lot more Chinese people out fishing. And the Chinese people, they don't just go for like the big fish like a lot of guys do, the stripers and the flukes or even the porgies, maybe some black sea bass or whatever. Like they get a lot of the little tiny fish. I noticed that it's like they just nonstop with a lot of the little tiny fish. And I'm not even sure what type of fish they are, but I'm just like, wow. I wonder how many of those little guys are really out there. Or one night I'm at this beach and I see like this Indian family netting along the shoreline. So like there's like, I don't know, little what do you call it? It's probably little baby bunkers and some little bait fish. What do they call? I forgot the other little tiny bait fish, but they got a bunch of little bait fish that are natural. And so if you kind of just stand in the shoreline and don't move, you'll eventually notice, some fish starting to get curious and gather around you maybe. And so I'm noticing like this Indian family one night just netting up all the little like baby fish or whatever. I'm just thinking like, wow, I wonder how many of those guys are down there. And so the thing is, your liberal ideas about the ecosystem and how we should maintain our natural. All right, just imagine a beach in India versus I don't know, Malibu Beach, right? How can your liberalism stop this horde of immigrants from turning your Malibu beach into an Indian beach? And well before we even get to the beach part, there's a whole other layer that you might want to think about too. Let's peek in on South Africa, y'all. Hit that like button. It's gonna get dark in here.
So 1990, Mandela gets out of prison, and then he gets elected as the first black president of South Africa. And like, how massive a change was this in South Africa?
Well, it was very harsh. The white people, didn't have much faith in black people running the country, and we'd also seen, what happened to Rhodesia, which is today a completely defunct, destroyed country that doesn't exist. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's not an existing country. Has no functioning. It's not a functioning country. That's Rhodesia. It's the next country.
This is Errol Musk, the father of tech billionaire Elon Musk. Elon is from South Africa. Errol Musk is obviously from South Africa. He remembers the South Africa before it went dark.
Country up. And so the white people here were terrified of what this meant. And, in the beginning, we actually, through Mandela, keeping many of the existing government structures in place, things weren't that bad, but people had no faith, no faith in things getting better, and so people were very, very worried, and everybody, May and her whole family left the country. Everybody in her family left the country. May and her whole family, they all left the country. My partner had left the country much earlier before, but nearly everybody we knew who could leave left the country. And so, it was not good. It was not great.
I remember one of the things that Mandela said when he first took power was that he didn't want black people to take revenge against the white people of South Africa. He wanted a society where everyone coexisted. Was that actually the case, though?
Did he actually say that? I mean,
yeah, he said that.
Well, look, I wouldn't have. That would have been very bad for the black people. The white people are not pussies in this country. The white men in this country are serious. If you understand what I mean, we wouldn't have wanted something like that to happen. It would have been a terrible thing to happen. It's not like we would all run away. It was 450 white men and women who defeated 10,000 Zulus at the Battle of Blood River and left 6,000 of them dead. So, and not one injury to a white person. So no, the white people, that's a good thing it didn't, because it would have been stupid. But it was a very nice thing for Mandela to try and say to people, on the other hand, they did start going into gangs of, blacks did start going into white people's homes and just shooting them in their beds. And,
despite what they tell you, things tend to turn out according to a predictable pattern of events. And then those events don't really make the news because nobody wants you to know how things really play out. They want you to, watch the Disney movie and live in the fantasy. Just believe.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
Here and there, they came into my home on one occasion, 7 or 8 of them, and, I dispatched 3 of them to the next world, and then the rest ran away. South Africa, as I told you earlier, in 1994, when the ANC took over, did we just say at the moment in South Africa, we don't have a single government department that functions?
Hey, that's an interesting comment. Chuckwu says the Musk family and the white Afrikaners are fleeing tethers. When you say fleeing tethers, what are they tethered to? What are they fleeing exactly? I would like for you to flesh that comment out a little bit. Because, when you say tethers, I only understand it from the American context. We usually say that about, immigrants, black immigrants or whatever. But I wonder what you mean specifically when you use that word.
We have partially functioning government in this country, even to this day. Nothing really functions. So, for example, about the last 18 months, no one could get a passport here. It was almost impossible to get. The Home Affairs doesn't work. And so the banks started issuing passports here with the approval of the central government. I mean, there's no functioning government department in this country. Let's face it. It's no good pretending, things aren't nowhere near what they should be in this country. But at any rate, where was I now? Back in 94, when the ANC took over, for the first thing that happened, I was a city councillor for 10 years in one of the most beautiful buildings. I had my office in the country, probably in the world. In the first year, they burned it down to the ground. This huge, magnificent structure was burnt to the ground in the first year, in 95. Anyway, that's typical, When
I grew up, none of the fencing, none of the warehouses were here. It was all open fields. It was just heavenly.
This farm in Cranbury, New Jersey, has been in Andy Henry's family since before the Civil War. Now he's in danger of losing it to eminent domain. The town wants it for affordable housing.
What we're working on now is what the town wants to make into housing. We're talking about 4 buildings, I think, like probably 3-story.
It's kind of hard to imagine.
You know what else is hard to imagine? Affordable housing for white people. So you're going to tear down this farm to build quote unquote affordable housing. But affordable housing is most often used as a euphemism to bring in, poor black people, non-white people, really. And so when I hear the term affordable housing, I never picture white people. Anytime I hear that phrase brought up, I never see white people in my head. Like, the Rorschach test? I never think white people when I hear the word affordable housing. Honestly, when I hear affordable housing right now, I think Indians. I think South Asians, I think Pakistani, various types of Muslims.
It's hard to think about.
Every municipality in New Jersey is required by state law to build affordable housing. The town wants to put a big chunk of its next project on this land. When did you first hear that the town was interested in your property?
I got a letter, just said, you want your property for affordable housing. We'd like you to agree on a price, but if we can't agree on a price, we'll issue eminent domain proceeding against you. It was a shock.
Henry launched a campaign to save the farm, which quickly got national attention. and became a rallying cry for MAGA supporters around the country.
You know, El Cid says, David, have you watched any of the Zoomer historian videos on Rhodesia? El Cid, yes or no? Rhodesia is becoming a more modern right-wing Rome. And in this way, you know how there's that meme of like, have you thought about Rome today? You know, guys on the right, they think about Rome, the Roman Empire every day. Rhodesia is becoming a closer reference to the Roman Empire for the right wing. So a thing that I hear right now is we are all global Rhodesia. Like all of the Western world is Rhodesia right now. And so it's weird. Like the fall of Rhodesia is kind of like it somehow has a weird spiritual parallel to the fall of Rome.
Who flooded the town government with verbal abuse. What kinds of things do people say?
Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay. You f***ing commie libtards, you know, you think you're doing? You're not American. You're just, you know, stealing from the taxpayer. You need to give that f***ing farm back. Matt Scott serves on the township committee that helped pick the farm as a building site.
You kind of look like a liberal scumbag mayor. Just like you have the physiognomy of a scumbag liberal politician. If you were in like a major West Coast city, if you were working for Gavin McGinnis as a fluffer, I wouldn't be shocked one bit. You would be on his staff, you know, wearing a nice suit and everything. You would be on the payroll, and your official title as a staff member for Gavin Newsom would be fluffer. You have complete liberal scumbag politician physiognomy.
People are pissed generally in the country. They feel like the governing structures are not listening. All they hear is that this 5 Democrat member committee in this town is seizing this hardworking farmer's, you know, family legacy. I think it's an easy target for people.
The story even caught the eye of the Trump administration. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins blasted it as a Biden-style takeover and called Henry on the phone.
It was nice to have that kind of high-level support, of course. I was here just trying to take care of the property, and here I am all over the internet. It's mind-boggling. It really is.
Is this a political issue to you?
Well, I'm trying to make sure it is not a political issue.
Bro, it's so much deeper than a political issue. You got like a lot of, this is a very old piece of land. This farm has been in operation for like 150 years, I think they said. So, I mean, it's damn near a historical landmark at that point. We're talking a deep cut into Americana. Like, you're just the guy who owns a farm, but in the grand scheme of things, this is like a stab at Americana. And it happens just like that, and little teeny tiny invisible attacks all across the country. And it happens to people who never make the news. It just so happened that this guy got caught up in a wave of whiteness.
If you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Bernie supporter, an independent, I don't think anybody wants people to come in here and say, we're going to take your property because a developer wants it.
And this was one of the sites that we looked at.
New Jersey has strict requirements for where it will pay for affordable housing to be built, which Scott says eliminated most options.
When we started the process and you look at the map, and it looked like, oh, this will be a no-brainer. The actual viability of the property as far as its size, they weren't viable.
How good of a fit did you feel about the site?
It's not great. It's pretty close to the turnpike. It's wedged in between 2 warehouses. Ideally, this would not be where we're putting these people, but we're doing it because we have to. I think there'll be a line out the door, people who want to live there.
Henry and
I can almost guarantee you're going to radically alter the demographics of Cranbury, New Jersey with a plan like that.
his brother live in New Mexico and rent the land to a local farmer. Township efforts to reach the brothers went unanswered until one day Henry showed up at a committee meeting.
Yeah, I felt terrible. I was like, wow, there has to be another option. There's no other option. We vetted all these properties, and this is what we're stuck with.
Why go the eminent domain path?
None of us wanted to eminent domain. Had no desire to do that. If they don't want to sell, that's kind of where we're at.
The council.
None of us wanted to actually kill you and take your stuff, but If you don't want to give it up, I mean, come on. What'd you really expect? I mean, come on, bro. Dude, be reasonable here.
Had to file its plan by June 30th to prevent developers from stepping in, which could lead to bigger developments and a larger influx of residents, straining resources and raising taxes.
I completely understand how this could be seen by them as the workings of a heartless, powerful government. My primary responsibility is to the taxpayers of Cranbury, the parents of the school kids in Cranbury, and I feel like the greater good is served by making sure that we get this affordable housing built and we do it without bankrupting the town.
The council had to file its housing plan by June 30th.
I also want to add, shame on Matt, shame on Robert, shame on Deborah, shame on Lisa.
As the deadline approached, town meetings turned tense.
When a man has a farm for 150 years and you want to take it?
Do you feel like the bad guy in the story?
Who's this woman right here with the headscarf on? So in a tiny town, because I've been to Cranbury, New Jersey, on business. I don't know the people there, but I've passed through there. I've dropped some things off and picked some things up from Cranbury, New Jersey, and it's pretty much a white town, small white town in New Jersey. Why is there a teeny tiny lady with a hijab on their little town council? Huh. Maybe Cranbury, New Jersey isn't as white as I thought it was. Interesting.
For 150 years and you want to take it?
Do you feel like the bad guy in the story?
No, I don't. I empathize 100% with the Henry brothers. Again, I feel like the greater good is what my responsibility is towards. So.
The town's final plan, which now sits with a state judge, calls for half of the farm's 21 acres. Even if the town forcibly takes the land, it would have to pay market value. Meanwhile, the Henry brothers applied to protect their property through a state farmland preservation program and filed a lawsuit aiming to block eminent domain. Do you think you're going to win this fight?
I do think so, but they have to build affordable housing. Yeah, we're not opposed to that. It's how much and where.
What is your hope for how this situation resolves?
Why do they have to build affordable housing? Like, are the projects in Cranbury, New Jersey, just like bursting at the seams here? Like, what's the population projection on a place like Cranbury, New Jersey? Or are you expecting guests? I don't understand what you mean by they just have to build affordable housing. Anyway, speaking of affordable housing.
No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark.
Whoa.
State of Arkansas.
That is a hell of a way to start a clip. Whoa, brother. Whoa. You caught me off guard. I did not expect to hear that.
Emotional damage. You want some therapy? No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z, and this is a new update of age-old prejudice.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
But what this sounds...
White American culture. So they're not even going to allow any Russians, no Polacks, no French, no Italians.
It's like, is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
It's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out, even if...
Well, I mean, you don't let everyone into your home.
Now, here we go. Welcome to All White Everything. Hit that like button, y'all. This is the part of the show that I got up early on a Saturday morning to do this because it's been on my heart. It has been on my heart. If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And while the men do the physical labor, the women take care of the children who live here full time. It could be a very loving community.
Oh, look at that. Classical white women in a classical white neighborhood doing classical white women things. Oh, wow.
If you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
You might be wondering how any of this can be legal. Return to the Land is structured as a private members association, which they believe allows them to discriminate on the basis of ethnicity.
Interesting. A private members association. Membership has privileges, all right? Membership does have privileges. This is why I invite you guys to join the church and become a member.
Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
With other factors. That has yet to be tested in the courts and may well fail. The Arkansas Attorney General has said his office is now reviewing the matter as a result of our reporting, and that there is no room for racial discrimination in Arkansas or anywhere in.
And shout out to Big Time with the $10 super chat. He says there are plans to build a 400-acre all-Muslim city in Texas. It got zero pushback, no mention of affordable housing mentioned or required, no ADL outrage. Thoughts? One, I hear the Texas town is finally getting pushback, so that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I do not like having that Texas town going all Muslim, and I hear they try to follow a similar model, a model where they ran everything through their mosque as a part of like a mosque membership thing, and so they're kind of trying to follow a similar model. But I don't know if it's been completely stopped. But I do know they're finally kind of putting the brakes on that thing. I haven't really heard any updates in a couple of weeks, so I don't know where it is right now. But as it stands, that town is already sort of underway, right? There are people there already, because you already got a large population of all kind of Muslims all over the country. Anywhere there's a major metropolitan area, you probably got all kind of large immigrant groups there. And how they need to come up to New Jersey if they're gonna stop the they go to Patterson. All right, you want to stop the immigrant takeover, go to Patterson. But shout out to Big Time with that $10 super chat. Be like Big Time, y'all. Smash that super chat button for me.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! Yeah! You make Hulk angry. You not like Hulk angry. Hulk no like fighting girls.
And Pastor, yeah, I did catch that. They are opening membership to white people of the world. You know, they need numbers though. They need numbers. Hold on. We got another one. Shout out to Big Time again with the 5-ball. He says, does the Fair Housing Act destroy our right to freedom of association? I'm not sure, because I'm just not really well versed on the language of the Fair Housing Act. It wouldn't surprise me though, because frankly, even if you go back before the Fair Housing Act, the civil rights movement in and of itself, the Civil Rights Act or whatever, I think you could kind of argue that alone was infringing on freedom of association and all that. So there's definitely grievance to be had on this issue. But shout out to Big Time again with the 5-ball.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
what we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites only place.
White American culture.
Yes, we are finally here. We have arrived in the Ozarks. Hit that like button. Shout out to all the church members. Shout out to all the regulars in the chat. Midwest Request, Character Matters, Chocolate Bunny, Big Time, I Controls, Pastor L. Sid, Angry Snowman, Jamar. Shout out to everybody that's here right now. Hit that like button as you make your way into the room. We are finally in the Ozarks. Midwest Request with the 5-ball. He says, every racial group in the U.S. believes in manifest destiny. They just don't agree on whose destiny is it. Yeah. This land is your land. This land is my land. That was a song that the black man can only sing with the white man. I don't know who the rest of these niggas are, though. Shout out to Matrix Media, man. Hit that like button. Do me a favor. Throw $1 in the hat for your boy. Let's get back to this content. We got to look at this all-white town.
I need that money.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right, sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references? Right. Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic and sometimes surreal experience.
I don't know what it is about rivers, but white folk love to swim in the rivers, man. I don't like that nasty river floor feel on my feet. I can't do that river thing, man. Listen, beaches, pools, I'm with you all day, man. I don't know why y'all love to swim in the rivers, though, man.
But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because of a new political and technological moment. One with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own.
Oh, that's where the Patriot Front boys live. Oh, we found the Patriot Front. That's where they live. Oh, it would make sense that you would live way up in the mountains so you could see anybody creeping up on you.
US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own for generations to come.
It's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
But in this southern US state, people who have lived through segregation once fear it is returning.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful. And you don't know who to trust.
Well, why you had to show me a picture of slavery shackles?
And you don't know.
You got a terrified, dark-skinned black woman and a picture of slavery shackles on the wall. I see what you're trying to do there, all right? You're not going to scare me.
Who to trust.
Its founder says he is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association. I kind of want to ask you, after seeing this, do you think what we're doing is immoral?
You know what? Real quick, I want to ask the chat. Damn it! You know what? Let me open up a proper window here, and I want to put a poll in the chat. We're going to leave this poll open for most of the show so we can get a healthy amount of votes in here. But I want to know. I want to know, are they bad people? Does this make them bad? Let me ask, how do I phrase this? Are the white people are they bad people for wanting to live in their own all white community? Question mark. There we go. Start the poll. We are starting polls now. Hold on, let me scroll up. Oh, big time with the 5-ball. He says Philadelphia has a park called Chinatown. No outrage from the small hats or blacks. Why can't white people have the same? You know what? Most major cities of note have a Chinatown. Like, I haven't been to Boston, but I almost know Boston has a Chinatown. They might not call it a Chinatown, but there's a part of Boston where all the Chinese people live and you got the best Chinese food and all that. Like, every town has that. Like, New York City has a famous Chinatown. San Francisco has a famous Chinatown. I mean, what majors? Yes, your city just ain't popping if you don't have a Chinatown. And shout out to Rational B, the 2-month member. He says, noticing church, they fight with lies and innuendo and narrative control. That's exactly what we notice in the Church of Noticing. Lies, innuendo, and narrative control. Shout out to all the church members. Thank you to Chocolate Bunny for joining the church. Pull up a chair, girl. Come on down and just sit with us in the front row.
Get it again. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you for joining the church. I appreciate everybody for becoming a member. Gonna have some more exclusive content. I'm about to throw a lot of stuff behind a paywall so we can have some more exclusive content in there. Right now, you got pretty much the entire series of This Week in Oppression. Pretty much every episode I can grab onto is still locked behind the paywall, but we're gonna add some more current stuff too. But thank you guys for joining the church. Wait a minute, I thought I saw a couple of other things I needed to address before we move on. Oh, big time with the $2 super chat. He says, Philly has a gay bar hood. No problems, right? What are you asking me about Philly's gay bar, bro? I feel some type of way about you asking me about Philadelphia's gay bar. Is there only one? Because that's weird if it's just one. Like, there's a bunch of gay niggas all over everywhere. But why are you asking me about that shit, bro? I don't know, man. What the fuck?
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn, I'm not. All right.
This nigga picking on me to ask about Philadelphia gays and shit, bro. That was such a weird question for me. I have no idea. Let the Philly gays do whatever the Philly gays do, bro. It's already bad enough. Don't drag me into none of that shit they got going on. Oh, wow.
Arkansas, in the southern United States.
Welcome to Little Rock, where the local time is 4:27.
For the last few years, I've been exploring how an ethno-nationalist movement has been organizing online. A network that aims to define countries by ethnicity, but which links across borders. And this is the place that one group has chosen to put that into radical, real-world action.
You want a white nation? Build a white town. It can be done, and we're doing it.
It is an extreme view, but it draws on more familiar arguments. That mass immigration is out of control, that Western societies are in danger of losing their fundamental character as a result.
We are at the point of progressivism where the white people have begun to retreat into the mountains, they're going to start building castles and shit next, right? It's going to be like an American take on a European medieval castle, though. You know, little tiny portholes to shoot your AR-15 out at people. Going to be dedicated grenade launcher nest and stuff like that. We're at this level of progressivism. We're about to militarize the mountains.
One of the arguments here is that this isn't about persecution of an ethnic identity, but protection of an ethnic identity, and that identity happens to be white. So we're going here now up into these pretty remote woods to really put that to the test.
We are driving deep into the Ozark Mountains. The group's leaders are not from Arkansas, and they've chosen these remote parts for a reason. All the locals I spoke to knew only a little about the group, if anything.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's not my choice.
Yeah. But do you think they should have the freedom to do it?
That's what they want to do.
I think it's kind of a little fishy around here, but just be safe.
The leader of the group is called Eric Orr, and he's invited me to spend a few days with them.
Hey, Eric.
He insists what he is doing here is entirely legal, and that's key, because if it is, it could be a blueprint for many other communities to come.
Welcome to the Ozarks.
Thank you very much.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, you know, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites only place.
White American culture. Yeah, not just white, but white American.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation.
I wonder how they handle deliveries. Like, do you get like race carded at the county line or whatever? Is there like a clearing station, like a big loading dock, where they just, you know what, we'll take it from here, guys. Thanks, Jermaine. We'll see you tomorrow. Like, how do they handle deliveries? I'm curious now.
A fair assessment?
Like, what are the logistics of all white everything? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out.
Well, I mean, you don't let everyone into your home.
160 acres taking shape, forest cleared, roads laid, cabins built. Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And I'm intrigued to find out what motivates people to give.
Jersey Hammer, that's such an ironic question. The answer is in your statement. As someone who has Polish and German as part of their bloodline, what is white culture? Literally Polish and German. And I'm not making it only Polish and German, but I mean, there is a lot of deep white culture if you care to look. But you know, we're in America. We're rediscovering the reason why you should build castles and stuff over here. Well, American white people are getting in touch with their roots, man.
Give up their old lives for this.
We met here.
Oh, you met here? I guess he came here.
I met her on like day 3.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a story. It beats Tinder, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, right?
David and Caitlin not only met here, they got married last month. They wouldn't be here without social media.
They are bringing white people together. Oh, look at that shit. They got white love. Shout out to the white love in the mountains.
When I die, I'ma go to Snow Bunny Heaven. Snow Bunny Heaven.
Who'd have thunk it? Snow Bunny Heaven is on a little mountaintop in Arkansas.
Posted a video of Eric.
Yeah.
I saw videos of them actually building stuff on the land. I was like, oh man, I gotta come check this out.
I figure if there's nothing else like this in the country, like it should at least exist.
Yeah.
Like, do people really think that we should never be able to choose our neighbors.
It wouldn't be controversial for any other racial group to do the same thing.
I think it'd be quite controversial.
Well, if you don't have rules against it, then, anyone of any race can come and be your neighbor, and they're watching the news, which is telling you that white people are, the cause of all your problems and all the ills of society, and suddenly, your children are much less safe because there's a lot of violence, anti-white violence happening to white people and white children. And so
specifically sort of motivated by racism against white people. What sort of things the heavens are about to
Yeah. I'd like to continue talking, but the rain starts and it comes down hard. The residents shelter in their cabins and night falls. The next morning. This is how the average weekend works at Return to the Land, or RTTL, what they call a work party, made up of residents, but also new recruits who have come to
RTTL. Make sure to write that down. There will be a test later. RTTL, Return to the Land.
check out the project. It is hot, hard work. To join RTTL, you have to sign up to the Private Members Association, or PMA. And there are strict criteria for membership, as Scott Thomas, a board member and one of the founding fathers here, explains.
You have to be a PMA member to live here.
Yeah.
So you have to be someone of European heritage.
The group's logo, based on a Nordic rune, draws on that heritage.
Oh,
It's
stop.
the PMA.
They're bringing back runes. They're bringing back runes. They're learning how to write. They're writing in Odin speak. Get out. They're bringing back Odin speak. The All-Father would be pleased.
Its logo, based on a Nordic rune, draws on that heritage. It is the PMA that the group believes makes this all legal. Once members have been vetted on ethnicity and other grounds, they can buy shares in the Limited Liability Company, or LLC. Those shares translate to acres of land that they can build on. Peter Seri is the brains behind the legal side of things.
Civil Rights Act is there for a reason, and this is a way around it.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll survive contact with the legal?
And you know what's interesting about this, right? Jersey Hammer is questioning the very existence of white culture. White folk have went past the culture thing. They're just now incorporating whiteness, right? That's really what just happened here. Never mind all your questions of culture and whatnot. We're just going to incorporate it. Now it's definitely real. White People Inc. And it's a privately owned group. This group will never be a publicly traded stock you can buy on the NASDAQ. White People Inc.
System, the courts, if it came to that.
Hopefully.
Do you think it's racist or not? Do you reject that term? Do you embrace it?
I don't know about that term. I mean, people use it in a lot of different ways. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the internet who would call me racist. I don't really know or care whether that term applies to me or not. Maybe.
Scott, what do you think?
You know, honestly, Acadia, I was just kind of briefly rolling that idea around in my mind, and here's where I land on it. I think they say the French aren't white for maybe a historical reason as well. You realize, like, who was it? I want to say it was Charles Martel, you know, Charles the Hammer. And at the same time, there was like Joan of Arc, right? Those people are famous because they pushed back the Muslim invasion from Europe, right? The Muslims literally got up to basically Paris or whatever. They were in France. I don't know about Paris exactly, but they made it to France, right? And so theoretically, if the Muslims penetrated you that deeply, they left a lasting impression. And I think the other white countries are looking at the French like, you're just not as white as you used to be. And then on top it off, right? Top it off. You look at France now, they're definitely not as white as they could have been.
Yeah, I almost don't know what racist means anymore. Like it's
A prejudice towards someone who's from a different ethnicity.
Well, actually, the modern definition of racism, according to critical race theory, all white people are racist automatically.
A lot of this is reaction to left-wing identity politics.
You know what? Remind me to work that in, Chocolate Bunny, because I think I'm going to take another swipe at this. Because this FBA Africa War is so hilarious. I can't stop looking at it. And I did notice Spike Lee and his wife got awarded some kind of weird thing from some country. Anyway, it's all fake and gay. But I'm going to remind me to bring that up tomorrow when I do run back on this topic.
Critical race theory and movements like Black Lives Matter. And fundamentally, this is identity politics, but white identity politics. And what they're building here is a safe space for people of European ancestry.
It's exclusionary. It's sort of an attempt at segregation.
Did he just say a safe space for white people? What an amazing concept. A safe space for white people. Revolutionary.
Right.
Is that fair?
Probably.
While the men labor at the roadside, the women of Return to the Land are at work too, looking after the 6 children who live and are homeschooled here full time.
I know what some of you niggas is thinking. I know what some of you niggas is thinking. It's not going to happen for you. I know. It's not going to happen for you. She's not going. Unless you got like cult leader, nature boy skills, you're not going to make this happen.
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the Black community?
What Black community? It's a Black environment with Black women and Black children in it.
I know what some of you niggas are thinking, and she not going for it, bro. I know she not. Not enough of them. I don't know. Look, you got to have nature boy skills. I don't know what that nigga nature boy got, but unless you got what nature boy got, she ain't
preparing
going.
Food for the weekly community dinner. The theme tonight, colonial.
I don't know, dinner's really important. I like feeding people, so I didn't want to put this off any longer than I already had.
Back in the day, when we first got the land here, there were only about 5 guys. I was living 40 minutes from here, and Jennifer was the first, family to be on the land full time. So we started community dinners back then, and it would be pretty relaxed because there weren't many people. But it is nice. It's slowly growing. So
They've come here to live for a variety of reasons, but their dedication to the mission is absolute.
My name's Nikki, N-I-K-I. I'm 32.
Cool.
I'm a lady.
My name's Allison, A-L-I-S-O-N. I'm 29.
Right.
And Caitlin, C-A-I-T-L-I-N. I'm 31.
I think people just have a large misunderstanding of what's happening here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misunderstanding?
I'm getting flashbacks of that video from Levittown, Pennsylvania, with those 3 lovely, quote unquote, racist white ladies. It's like the future is the past and the past is the present. My timelines are getting all screwed up right now.
That we hate everyone else. Yeah,
it's
not about that.
Yeah,
by any
it's a loving movement.
I mean, on that aspect of it being loving, I suppose the counter argument would be you can be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're Black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do, and I think that's great for them. If other people are allowed to do it, I don't really see why whites aren't allowed to do it. It doesn't make any sense.
And that really is the giant kicker of it all, right? Why is everybody else allowed to do it, but the white people, they instantly become SS stormtroopers if they want to do it? It kind of makes the whole thing look weird at the end of it.
Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
But the goal is to have lots of these communities and for it maybe not to be rural, for there to be cities on the same basis, right?
Yeah, that would be neat. I look forward to seeing how this movement grows over time.
There are other ways to increase numbers. Nikki, Caitlin, and Alison all met their partners at the community. And RTTL is explicit.
Oh wow. I wonder, do you like get a wife as a part of the contract? Because I'm seeing a lot of this, like, maybe that's the same couple. Maybe that's the same couple. Hold on, because it would be a great selling option to the frustrated young white men out there with no purpose and no drive in life. It's like, hey, listen, move to the mountains, build a log cabin, get a wife, have some barefoot children. No cable, no Wi-Fi.
About this. It has an online fundraiser to give cash rewards to parents of newborns as a means to incentivize population growth. Just before we arrived, they had donated $1,000 to a family for having their 6th child.
See, and they're cracking the code. Look at that. They are cracking the code. Shout out to Big Time with the 5-ball. He says, it's fascinating to me how white conservatives love Israel, but hate seeing their people build their own homes. Third rail activated. Third rail has officially been activated. And, we're actually going to kind of touch on that. I did get that interview with TMZ, so bear with us. Bear with us. We are definitely going to get to the TMZ interview. But yeah, that's the noticing. It's painful, but it won't stop.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please.
Is that part of the mission as well, to sort of have big families, to make the community bigger? Is there a sort of pressure there?
I don't think so. I don't feel particularly myself, I don't feel any pressure to have a big family. I think there's a kind of expectation here that you do want to, as part of helping grow this thing, that you're going to have kids.
There's not a lot to show around here. I basically just have the whole pasture area.
Peter is unattached. This is his homestead. He's been on a journey. He told me he used to be a liberal, a hippie even.
The knife is a tool. It has to be very sharp in order to cut properly.
He founded a commune in Ecuador, an intentional community based not on ethnicity, but veganism.
So this is your lot?
Wait a minute.
He's also immersed in internet culture.
Wait a minute.
Led a commune in Ecuador, an intentional community based.
Incel physiognomy spotted. Incel physiognomy check. Chocolate bunny. Does your quote coworker pass the physiognomy check? I'm getting an interesting vibe off this guy, Peter. Peter, listen. Put your shirt on and keep your hair cut. All right, you're going a little far there, Peter. You're giving off a lot of interesting vibes right now. You're pinging all kind of alarms for me, Peter.
On ethnicity, but veganism.
So this is your lot?
Yeah.
He's also immersed in internet culture, someone who delights in provoking reactions, a troll.
Peter the troll? Oh, man. They done found the troll's home. And of course, Peter the troll is a homesteader living alone in the mountains.
On the group chat on the messaging app Telegram, he's posted the numbers 1488. The 14 refers to the 14 words, a white supremacist slogan. And H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. So 88 means HH, which means Heil Hitler.
Because you put that in the Telegram, for instance. What does that mean when you place that in Telegram 1488?
Well, I use it as kind of like a funny comment throwback.
As part of that Nazi discussion, another frequent topic on the online chat is the Holocaust. Usually minimized, sometimes even mocked.
But the Holocaust, stands as a unique crime in the history of
Well, that's your
humanity,
opinion.
really.
I think the Holodomor was much worse than the Holocaust. That's my opinion. I mean, we're allowed.
Shout out to the Holodomor. Nobody knows. What makes one G side better than the other? All G sides matter. How about that? All G sides matter.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
Out to have opinions.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can say they're both bad. The Holocaust was bad.
But do you know anything about the Holodomor?
Yeah, in Ukraine,
right.
The famine, I know a little bit about it, and I know it was awful too, and
right,
it's sort of deliberate, but we can also agree the Holocaust is bad.
Well, you know, we don't have to say that one was objectively worse than the other.
I'm not saying one. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, was the Holocaust a bad thing?
So basically, all I'm saying is that I don't really see it as concerning that people are talking about Hitler when it's acceptable. It's publicly, socially acceptable in the United States for leftists to support Chairman Mao.
It's quite difficult to agree on even the very bare minimum here.
It's just interesting.
Right. Don't give him an inch. Who is this guy and his camera crew? What are you talking about? What even are you?
Coming to talking about the Holocaust, it's always about something else. And, you know, I think most people would agree the Holocaust was a bad thing.
Right.
But you're not willing to agree with that.
What, do you want to talk about the whole? I mean, it
like,
seems like an interesting subject, but
it is an interesting subject. I also think that was a bad thing, but I think the Holocaust was a bad thing too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, are you asking
well,
me a
no,
question?
yeah, I'm asking, do you think the Holocaust was bad?
Yeah, I think the Holocaust was bad.
RTTL.
I was so awkward and frustrated. yeah, all right, it was bad. Now what? Bald pussy.
Is based on exclusion, but that also means building community for those allowed inside. This isn't just for our camera's benefit, to present a veneer of clean, healthy living. It's central to the project.
I'm telling you, man, there's something about white people in rivers, bro. Of all the waters, bro, rivers. I'm not really fond of lakes either, by the way, for the same reason. That whole mushy algae feeling on your toes, stepping on wet rocks and all. Ugh.
Like many far-right movements before them, RTTL's mission is to show that by excluding others, they can live purer, more natural lives. As they put it on their website, to cultivate wholesomeness, beauty, health, and hope. Let's talk about hope. As much as RTTL might like, they do not exist in a separate world. Pocahontas is the nearest town to the settlement. And hope means
they live next to the town called Pocahontas. Pocahontas, Arkansas. Ain't that wild?
Something different for Pat Johnson.
I'm Tom.
I'm Pat.
Oh, you're Pat. Lovely to meet you, Pat. How are you?
We met her.
And of course, they're going to find the one black lady who is literally coal black, and she's also a slavery expert. Like, you literally have to write this into reality.
Before we went up into the hills.
It was about 25 students that attended school here.
And the
on
whole
and off.
time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really tiny. That, like, there you are.
Yes.
Second from bottom. How old are you in that photo?
I don't know. I think probably about 12 or 13.
This is the school she attended in the 1950s, a school for black children only, because she was not allowed to be educated with white people.
Damn, you know what? We might have to make this a double header because I still got to do that 1950. Was it really better in the 50s?
Unlike the members of Return to the Land, she is Arkansas born and bred. For the first 15 years of her life, she lived under segregation.
We could not go to school together. We couldn't eat together. We couldn't do everyday things together. Each day that you leave your home, you were under rejection.
And Pat had hoped those days had gone.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful. And you don't know who to trust.
When I explain what Return to the Land is doing, just half an hour's drive away, she's not so sure. And in her eyes, there is one main reason for that.
And I feel like that's the change of, and I'm just going to say, I think it's the change of our presidency. That's what I'm going to say, because I feel like that's where the change is. It's allowing people.
It's Trump's fault. If it wasn't for Trump, these white folk wouldn't be trying to get themselves together and live right. Trump made them want to organize and live right.
To have the right to be open for hatred.
That may be a feeling, but it is also backed by the data. These are all the white supremacist incidents, demonstrations, leafleting, recruitment drives, meetups over the last 4 years in the US, tracked by ACLED, an organization that monitors violent conflict and protest. There has been a dramatic increase over that period. It has become a background thrum of nationalist activity. Patriot Front is the most active white nationalist organization in the US right now, according to ACLED. Its leader is Thomas Rousseau.
Foreign races have never successfully assimilated en masse into American culture and nationality.
And the group has tight links to return to the land. Eric and Thomas speak on each other's podcasts and have fast-track membership for both organizations.
Oh, man. Now it's getting spicy. Now it's getting spicy. You know what we're going to do, though? Because look, everybody calls these guys feds, and I don't know if they are. I don't care to judge. I mean, not judge. I don't care to jump on that bandwagon. I don't know if they are feds or if they're just regular guys or not. I'm just watching the show play out so far.
Comfy? Feels good?
Yeah. It's about time we spoke to Eric.
Less than 50% of children born today in the US are white. I'm white. My kids are white. There is something to your background that informs who you are, your sense of identity.
And shout out to Acadia. Thank you so much for tipping.
Give me the money, but I will do it. Give me the money.
Hit that like button, y'all. We're gonna get to the TMZ interview in like 2 minutes. Because this guy spoke to Harvey, and I think it was interesting. It's worth a watch.
And we don't want that sense of identity being taken away from us involuntarily. So we're taking control of that situation and creating an environment where my kids can celebrate their identity and not have it, threatened from outside, I guess.
But why is that threatening you? Why is that an issue that you've had to address? There will always be white people.
Well, I'm feeling a little nervous now in the interview.
Yeah.
We are forced to accept people into our neighborhoods, into our businesses. And
why you got a little scared right there? What was that
I'm feeling
about?
a little nervous now.
Don't be scared, white man. Come on, white man. Now is your chance. It's all or nothing. Don't punk out now, white man. You gotta put it all on the line. It's now or never. Either you build your mountain, your mountain castle, last ditch, last stand
position,
or you just let it go. Don't be scared, man. Don't be scared.
In the interview. We are forced to accept people into our neighborhoods, into our businesses, and into our lives who won't share our background, who won't share many of our cultural priors, even moral priors. We don't have a rule stating, if you have X amount of non-European ancestry, you're definitely out. In many cases, yeah, that would disqualify someone.
Were I to apply to the PMA and my views were different, I'd probably be allowed in. Do you think that's likely? I know it's a case-by-case basis, but just off the top of your head.
Yeah, possibly we would accept you in the PMA.
Nah, don't accept him. Don't accept him. Maybe you should do an early life check or something first. I don't like that guy.
I don't understand white American culture, but you'd rather have me in that case. I just wonder, though, whether some people watching this, having heard all this intellectualizing, this rhetoric, would say, fine, but actually at heart, this is just, it is just prejudice. It is just bigotry. It is just lowest common denominator racism dressed up in these arguments.
And I would just question the moral frame. Why is it wrong to identify with your own people, want an integrated culture where you can be yourself?
Just to boil it down to what for you is the definition of racism?
When I was a kid, I suppose I interpreted racism to be judging someone solely on the basis of their race. And is that a good or bad thing? I think this basic moral consensus treats it as automatically a bad thing without a lot of reflection.
This is my last day here. And before I go, I want to speak to John, not a leader like Eric or Pete or Scott, but an acolyte, a young one and newly arrived. He's only been here a month.
So I'm trying to knock off some of this more good topsoil, give it some more.
We'd seen him when we first came up. He guided us in on his bicycle.
It's just you have a community where you feel like you belong.
That's interesting. Jersey says the problem is they would accept a cracker liberal like Destiny before accepting you, Hood. I mean, I don't think it's a problem that they don't accept me per se, because obviously I'm not in the criteria, but I hope they wouldn't be dumb enough to like accept, liberal white folk. Because what's the point of building a beautiful house made of fine redwood from California if you're just going to pour termites in there? You know what I mean? So even by, having a quote white standard, I think I would hope they're smart enough to, look a little deeper than just, he's white, so he got to be right. I don't know if me not getting in is their biggest problem.
On here, you have people you can talk to, and I can't explain it. It's too beautiful. It's nice.
He'd been working on Scott's new house over the weekend. In return for his labor, he gets cheap rent. John dropped out of college, and he's worked jobs all over the United States. He's 26, younger than the leaders who are all in their 30s. If they are the recruiters, he is the perfect recruit.
I'm telling you, incels of America unite. Gonna find a mission for you, desperate white boys. What's that one song? I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. We found a place for you to belong. We have a mission for you. We have a place for you. And you know what? A couple of you guys might even get married. There's girls here. And they're into weird white guys just like you. I know why it sounds too good to be true. I know you're not all going to get women, so don't think like that. But, one or two of you guys might get your pee-pee touched in the mountains. I'm telling you, we found the cure for incels, y'all. We have found it. And I know the government hates this. This is the last thing the government wanted.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. There is a community in Arkansas that invites whites only. It is a white-only community. And there is talk now that there may be other communities in other states, like in Appalachia, other places, the Pacific Northwest, where this could expand to. The person who has created this community in Arkansas is a man named Eric Orwell, and he is joining us right now. Eric, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi, good to be with you. Thanks for the invite.
So, first of all, explain the premise. Why a white-only community?
Well, many white Americans do value their European heritage.
Really quickly, I mean, again with the physiognomy check, Eric Orwell, it's like a strong Viking name, right? Eric Orwell. Like he's a master of the oceans, right? with just one oar. He sailed an entire fleet across the English Canal, the English Channel, right? That's how he got the name Eric Orwell. He rowed an entire fleet with one oar across the English Channel. Eric Orwell. They got like their mythical hero guy.
And we don't think there's anything wrong with that. Many also are afraid that our identity is under threat from mass immigration, low fertility rates, just cultural changes. And we're not just a racial association. We also value traditional European culture, architecture, music, art. And so we want to create a space where that can be celebrated.
So when we say white only, for example, what if a Jewish person, what if I come in and say, I'd like to join this community?
Well, you're welcome to apply. Admissions decisions are made on a case-by-case basis.
You know what? You know what's crazy about that? That's exactly what you would hear if you were a black guy trying to buy an apartment somewhere in Williamsburg. Oh yeah, you're welcome to apply, but admissions are granted on a case-by-case basis. So you can leave your application with me and we'll get back to you. Thank you. That's exactly what you would hear if you tried to buy a condo in Williamsburg. Or listen, there are parts of New Jersey. Go out by the let me see. What's the name of that town? It's Lake something. But I know if you go down Route 9 all the way toward the water, you're going to drive through a giant Jewish enclave. Like, I mean, for miles and miles, all you see are Jews in minivans, Jewish shopping districts. And you can tell it's Jewish because a lot of things are like written in Hebrew and stuff like that. It's obviously kosher stuff. It's advertised as kosher. Literally all you see is people in minivans because for some reason, Jewish people love minivans. I think it's because of the kids. They have a lot of kids. And so it's like a bunch of minivans and the Mexicans who work for them. That's all you see in that little area. And it's always crazy traffic when you drive through there because it's literally like a one lane, well, it's a 2-lane street, one going up and one way going back down. And so you get caught in traffic there and you just look around and you just can't help but to notice, like, how did Williamsburg wind up out here?
And we're not purists about this. So if someone has some non-white ancestry, there's a chance they could be accepted. We do view Jewish origins as having their roots in the Near East, and so they wouldn't fall into the category of European heritage.
Why is European heritage the purest form of European heritage, something that you embrace to the exclusion of others?
Well, for something to be what it is, it has to not be other things. I think it's fine if people want to blend and mix and mingle cultures, but I do want cultural diversity to exist. So I want a pure form of Portuguese culture to exist. I want pure Japanese culture to exist in their own respective spheres. So I want a kind of pure European tradition to be maintained somewhere.
I mean, that's the classic segregationist policy, which, we had, up till the early 1960s. So fair to say you're a segregationist.
The major difference is that back then it was forced segregation, and I think that's immoral. Right now, what we have is effective forced integration, and I think that's also immoral. Forcing people to live in ways they don't want to live is the problem. It's not that people may want to voluntarily go their own way.
Is freedom of association a right and a value or not? Because, theoretically, as Americans, we kind of value the idea of freedom of association. If you want to go join that group and if that group will accept you, then have at it. Forced association, which forced busing and all that, it kind of reeks of a type of oppression, to tell you the truth. Like when you were kids, this is a thing I've seen in movies. Thank God I never really had this experience. But when you were a kid, well, maybe I did, and I just didn't really give in. I don't know. But there's this whole trope of your mom taking you to some other mom's house so you guys can make friends because she has a kid about your age or something like that. And now you got, you know, a forced friendship type of thing. It's kind of like that, right? Like the government has no right to be everybody's mom and try to make us all be buddies because we, you know, allegedly we're the same age or something goofy like that.
I think there's anything morally wrong with that.
I mean, there are clearly people who would say that this is a racist premise and that you are racist for propagating it. What do you say to them?
Well, our association is racial in nature as well as cultural, but we wouldn't identify as racists. And it's not entirely clear what people mean by racist anyway.
I don't even know. What is a racist nowadays anyway? Honestly, it's all gotten so vague. What even is racism?
Anyway.
You know, there are federal laws, the Fair Employment and Housing Act, and others that prohibit discrimination. So you have a community where people.
Of course, racism, of course, Jesse Lee would say racism doesn't exist, right? That's like your whole thing, Jesse. Of course you would say that.
Live, and it's essentially a whites-only community. How do you get around that federal law?
Our goal is not to get around federal law, it's to abide by it. And there are exceptions in the Fair Housing Act and other legislation like the Civil Rights Act for private associations. There's the public sphere where you're listing real estate publicly and looking for customers. And then there's private clubs, associations, intentional communities like we formed.
You know, it's interesting. I'm hearing you that you want this kind of purist European culture and that it doesn't necessarily define you as racist, but the people you attract, whether you are or not, may well be hardcore racists. I mean, fair?
I mean, listen, what am I supposed to do? I'm not a racist, but all my homies HH, bro. I can't help that. What am I supposed to do if all of my homies HH? Come on, man. Don't blame me.
I still don't really know what you mean by racist. Valuing race in itself, I don't think there's any moral problem with that. Mistreating people because of their race, there's a problem there, sure.
Well, I get it, but you say valuing people because of their race. A lot of people would say you're devaluing people because of their race.
Well, just like to be something, you have to not be other things. To value something, you have to value it above other things. So if you value, you know, Jewish identity and the Jewish people, then by default, you're going to value them above non-Jewish people.
So if you allowed a black person or say a Jewish.
Why is a thing like Zionism perfectly acceptable and cheered by all the modern media forces out there, but a thing like whiteism, oh no, don't you do that.
Person that wouldn't pass muster for you folks into that community, how would it adversely affect the community?
Well, that person would probably bring cultural priors from their own background that then we would adapt ourselves to consciously or unconsciously. I believe.
You know how far they have to drive to get a good bagel? An hour and 45 minutes. From his house to a good bagel, literally an hour and 45 minutes, all right? And they're trying to push it up to 2 hours even, all right? Get them further away.
That culture is a deep, unspoken, complex language that's physical, explicit, verbal, cultural, rather artistic, and all of that is sensitive. It's not something that we rationally calculate. We're not rational individuals operating in isolation. We're parts of larger wholes, traditions, communities that move forward over generations. And I think blending in people from other traditions will alter that tradition that we're trying to preserve, and we don't want that altered. We want it preserved and to remain our own thing.
How is this community funded? My understanding is you have something like a GoFundMe. Can you explain that?
Well, the actual purchase of the property was funded by the community members themselves. And up to this point, almost everything that we've done has been our own initiative, our own resources. We've put up some fundraising campaigns, like a legal fundraiser that has been very successful, and that's necessary because many people would try to attack what we're doing as illegal. I've also raised funds to fund a tour to expand our projects, not just to full-time residential communities, but also recreational areas and community centers. I think it's good for the white community to have our own spaces, just like I think the Black community should have its own spaces.
A neighborhood for everybody and everybody in their neighborhood. Oh, that sounds kind of dangerous. Oh, man. I don't know if we can do that. A neighborhood for everybody and everybody in their neighborhood. It's a risky move, white man.
And the Jewish community clearly has its own spaces.
But the way you put that is that there is a Black community, a Jewish community, and so on and so on and so on. And a lot of people say that's not America anymore. That may have been America 70 years ago, but it's not today. America is a melting pot. You go to a place where I live, like Los Angeles, and there's no, I mean, there are pockets, but there's really no such thing as entire communities anymore. So that's not America anymore.
There are certainly Jewish community centers. Do you have a problem with that?
Well, I have a problem with exclusion, to be honest. I have a problem with exclusion and just fundamentally saying somebody is different because of their religion or the color of their skin.
That's literally what a Jewish community center is, though. You are excluded if you are not a part of this particular community. And you know, I could push the scalpel a bit deeper on that, but I won't, because we all know why. There are some issues that are just right in everybody's face here. Like, you guys get to do your thing pretty effectively, but I notice you don't like other people doing their thing with equal effect.
I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Well, we're different in those respects, certainly. And there's a lot more to race than just the color of our skin. Genetically, race leads to cognitive differences just as much as it leads to differences of appearance. So I think we should be free to either integrate or segregate ad libitum. We should be allowed to exercise our freedom as Americans to blend together, to go our own way, and we can also have our own spaces and meet each other in the middle.
Okay. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. I don't agree with you, but we wanted to hear your point of view because this is happening in parts of the country. So thank you.
Harvey's going to sue him. Harvey's going to sue him. And when they finally win the lawsuit, they're going to build a house in the mountains, and somehow it's going to get struck by lightning and the whole damn town's going to burn down. I just had a premonition, y'all. I swear to God, I just had it was like a vision.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to talk about it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. I think you're in trouble, bro. I think what you just had was a threat. I think that whole conversation was a very elaborate threat.
Oh my God, we'll have our home again. My God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Because I want to cram as much as I can into today's events, because I do have to get out of here. Got to make a hard break at around 3:45. So while I still have a bunch of time, we're gonna fire up a whole other stream. We're not even gonna cross the streams. They say you should never cross the streams. So what we're gonna do is I already have the next show queued up and ready for business. And I'm going to drop the link to the next show in the chat as soon as I can get my myself together here. All right, there it is. Bam. Link identified. Link copied. Let's get into the chat here. We are dropping the link to the next show right now. All right? Right now. I don't know how the raid thing works. I wish I knew how to actually send you guys, just directly raid you to the next show. But that's what we're going to do. Let's close that poll in the chat while we're still working on stuff here. And let me see. What was the final result on that poll anyway? End poll. %87 of people said no, they are not bad people for wanting to live in their own all-white community. It's crazy. I don't know. Maybe we're just a special bunch here, but it would seem to me that racial relations between black folk and white folk aren't as dramatic as some people would like you to think. Shout out to Jesse Lee with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the show, Jesse. We are gonna shunt you guys over to the next show momentarily. Hit that like button on your way out. Thank you to Jesse for supporting the show.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
Yeah, and shout out to Albert. I don't think I want to live in an all-black community either, you know? Unless all of them are like super duper rich or something. And even then, that's kind of sketchy too. Rich people being the weird stuff. But this is what we're going to do. We are going to actually, let me make sure I get this thing fired up already before I close this one out so we can roll in seamlessly into the next show. I think I might upload some graphics in the background while we're waiting. All right, that we are in. We're going to get this next thing going in about T-minus 30 seconds, guys. Bear with me. I'm a bit clumsy, not as ambidextrous with the tech as I need to be. All right, we're in. Let's upload a couple of visuals. And we're out of here. All right, thanks for watching. We are going to shut this one down as we have the next one firing up. I will catch you guys on the other side. Hit that like button on your way out of the door, and we will be right back.
It's done. It's done. It's done.